Hi everyone, Nick Creticos of Nick's Seasonal Decor, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to decorate your fireplace mantle. We started off with a Walmart garland that we picked up for about $12 for a 9-foot piece. This is a fully flocked garland, and we also are stringing a pack of 100 white lights from Walmart. I picked these lights up with a white cord so they blended in with the flocking material a little bit better. And to attach these, what I'm doing is I'm finding the midway point and working my way from left to right. That way we have even coverage and the lights are evenly dispersed. I also made sure to test the lights before we actually even hung them up. It would be such a shame to have them all strung up on the garland, only to find out later on that they don't work. What I'm doing to attach them is simply pushing them deep in between the branches and just twisting the wired branches around them. So my biggest tip when adding your lights is to try to make sure you hide them as best as you possibly can. You don't necessarily want all of the cords showing, it does look tacky in the end, so try your best to hide them if at all possible. So our next step is to incorporate these extra large silver ornaments. These are plastic ornaments that we picked up from Hobby Lobby at 50% off. I was a little bit hesitant to add these because they are quite large, but I think in the end it truly paid off and I'm really quite pleased with the effect they give. So what I'm doing to add these is I'm basically weaving them in and out. So as you can see, the silver one directly in the middle of the swag or garland is placed more forward, whereas the rest of them are placed a little bit further back and alternating so that they're kind of tucked in and tucked out. I think that gives the best effect by having them not placed all in the same location. We definitely wanted to create depth when adding these. So now it's time to come back in with some of these frosted stems that we picked up from Hobby Lobby. They were 50% off and in total were only about 50 cents each, and we're using about a dozen and a half of them into this garland. So I'm not actually tying these in or wiring them in. I'm essentially just placing them into the garland and making sure that they're holding in place. If you have small children, cats, or dogs that like to get into things, I do suggest wiring them in place, especially if you're dealing with glass. But since we don't have any of those things in this house, it makes it easier when I go to disassemble everything after the holiday season by not having everything secured using wires. So I'm just placing them into the garland, and what I'm doing is I'm placing them facing towards the left and facing towards the right. That way they're going in two different directions. So our next step is to tie in some rose gold. So my Christmas tree is rose gold, silver, and touches of white, so we did want to make sure to match it to the tree. So I'm essentially just taking these rose gold ornaments and placing them in at random. So we're just going to continue adding these rose gold ornaments at random. And what we have in just a few minutes are some iridescent ornaments to add to this, and that is actually my favorite ornament this year. I absolutely love the look of it, and I'm sure you guys will as well. We're going to be tucking in a few leftover silver ornaments at this point, and these are ornaments that I had left over from previous tutorials, from other wreath projects, as well as from my Christmas tree. So if you have a few ornaments that are left over that match your color scheme, but not necessarily have a tremendous amount of them, it's perfectly fine to tuck in a few of them, as long as they all blend together seamlessly. So we're just tucking in those few leftover silver ornaments, and as you can see, they don't really make a drastic difference only having one or two of them. So now we're tucking in my favorite ornament, which are these iridescent ones, and actually the few that we're adding at this point actually hook onto your light, so they really are cool because they reflect the light from within them. And now we're going to be tucking in a few of these silver branches. These really have a natural look to them, and they can be shaped easily as they are wired. So I'm having some of these jet out in every different direction, and we're also going to be taking a few of them and having them hang down in front of the garland. They're really unique because they also have little beads and diamonds on them, and since we are dealing with such large ornaments, you also see that I'm placing a few of them on top of the ornaments to kind of deflect from how large they are. So I'm kind of hiding some of the ornaments we're adding, and I really like that effect. Now we're coming back in with a few leftover rose gold ornaments, just poking those in. Those we're actually not wiring in as well. So now we're going to just continue adding more and more ornaments. You really can't have enough of these. So since we have the majority of our garland constructed, I also wanted to hang a few ornaments cascading down below. We didn't want to have things jetting out too far down, but I did want to have some movement in this, so I'm just taking a few on some very inexpensive wire hangers and just hanging them down in front of the garland. Now we'll just quickly zoom across the garland to show you guys what it looks like so far, and now we're getting to one of my favorite steps, and we're doing the same technique that we did to our Christmas tree, where we're essentially creating a single loop with a long tail, and we're wiring these in into the garland. So I really like this effect because it brings in some ribbon, but it doesn't overdo it with a lot of it. So I'm just placing some at random every 4 or 5 inches and having some of the tails cascade down below. To make it easier for some of the pieces, I did take a tinsel ornament and attach the wire hanger to the back of the ornament just to make it easier and essentially create a ribbon pick that we can just stick into the garland and leave be. So I really like the effect of this ribbon, and I really love how everything blends together so nicely. We did have a wreath to go above the mantle, however we did have some gold in that wreath, and I didn't really think it matched the color scheme. So I just have the tree on top of the mantle at this point to kind of take away from the command strip that's hanging in the middle of the wall. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you learned something new. If you did enjoy this video and would like to see more of this content, please give this video a thumbs up, and be sure to check me out on my other social media pages on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Thanks for watching, and have a very Merry Christmas.